This groom hired his secret girlfriend to photograph his own wedding. Very romantic. For absolutely nobody involved. At first, the bride thought the photographer was simply professional. Then the woman called the groom by his childhood nickname. A nickname the bride had never heard before. She also knew which side of his face he preferred in photos, his favorite drink, and the password to his phone. The groom laughed nervously and said they had worked together before. RP has worked with many people. He does not know their phone passwords. The bride said nothing. She smiled for every photograph, finished the ceremony, and quietly asked the photographer to send her all the unedited pictures. That evening, she found one image the photographer had forgotten to delete. It showed the groom kissing her behind the wedding venue. The bride still did not confront him. Instead, she asked the DJ for one small favor. During the reception, the groom stood beside the screen, expecting a romantic slideshow. The first photographs appeared. Their first date, their engagement, their wedding ceremony. Then the secret picture filled the entire screen. The room went silent. The photographer dropped her camera. The groom tried to explain. Unfortunately, the next slides were screenshots of their messages. The bride removed her ring, placed it on the wedding cake, and walked out. He hired his girlfriend to capture the happiest day of his life. She accidentally photographed the end of it. RP calls that excellent camera work. This groom put his phone away before the wedding. Very smart. Unfortunately, his wrist was much less loyal. The ceremony had already started. The bride was holding his hand. The guests were smiling. And the groom looked extremely confident for a man making several terrible life choices at once. Then his smartwatch lit up. The bride glanced down. One message appeared on the screen. Last night was amazing. Wish I was the one in the dress today. The groom went pale so fast RP almost respected the speed. He tried to turn his wrist away. Too late. The bride read the message again. Then another notification appeared. Did she suspect anything? At that point, the watch was no longer a watch. It was a public confession bracelet. The officiant kept speaking. The groom kept sweating. And the bride kept smiling in a way that usually means someone is about to lose everything. When it was time for the vows, she took a slow breath and looked directly at him. I do, she said. Then she turned to the guests. But he does not. The room froze. She lifted his wrist, showed the watch to the front row, removed her ring, and placed it in his trembling hand. Then she handed the bouquet to the bridesmaid and walked straight out of the ceremony. He silenced his phone. But his smartwatch ended the marriage. RP calls that wearable technology. This husband thought everyone in the house was asleep. His wife was upstairs. The baby was asleep in the nursery. And he was downstairs working late. At least, that's what he said. RP thought that sounded very responsible. For about 6 seconds. Because while folding tiny baby clothes, his wife glanced at the baby monitor. She expected soft snoring. Maybe a little baby cry. Instead, she heard her husband's voice. Soft. Gentle. The kind of voice he hadn't used on her in months. I miss you too, he whispered. The wife froze. Then he laughed. Not his family laugh. The other one. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Upstairs, she slowly looked down at the monitor. Downstairs, he had completely forgotten that the nursery camera recorded audio. Then he said 4 words. She suspects nothing. The baby monitor kept recording. RP would like to thank him for providing evidence in high definition. The next morning, the husband walked into the kitchen smiling. Morning. His wife smiled back. Morning. Then she placed the baby monitor on the table. Pressed play. The color disappeared from his face before the recording even finished. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Looking for excuses. His wife took a sip of coffee. For the first time in months, she let him listen to himself. Turns out, babies aren't the only ones who need monitoring. RP calls that parental controls. This husband told his wife he was working late. Technically, he was sitting in a car. So yes, He was half honest. Just not the useful half. He came home after midnight, loosened his tie, and said the meeting ran long. His wife nodded. She did not question it. RP would like to mention something here. People who say meeting ran long always look exactly like the meeting did not involve meetings. But she said nothing. Not yet. The next morning, she borrowed his car. Everything looked normal. Coffee cup in the holder. Receipt in the door pocket. Dashcam blinking quietly on the windshield. Then the engine started, and the dashcam automatically replayed the last recorded audio. At first, only traffic. Then music. Then a woman laughing. The wife's hand stopped on the steering wheel. She listened. Carefully. Then she heard her husband's voice. "Don't worry," he said. "My wife never checks this car." RP has seen people lose arguments before. He has never seen someone lose one before breakfast. The recording kept going. A restaurant name. A hotel parking lot. A promise to meet again on Friday. The wife turned off the engine. No panic. No tears. Just silence. Then she drove home. When her husband walked into the kitchen later that morning, she placed the dashcam on the table. He smiled. A normal smile. The kind of smile people use when they think nothing is wrong. Then he saw the dashcam. The smile left first. The color followed. She pressed play. He reached for it. She reached for her coffee. And for the first time that morning, he had to sit still and listen. No interruptions. No excuses. Just himself. The husband bought the dashcam to protect his car. Turns out, it protected his wife from him. RP calls that road safety. This husband made his wife sign a prenup before the wedding. Very romantic. Nothing says true love like bringing a lawyer to dinner. He said it was just protection. For both of them. RP has heard that sentence before. It usually protects one person and annoys everyone else. The husband smiled, signed every page and barely looked at the paperwork. His wife looked at him. "Are you sure you don't want to read it?" He laughed. "I trust my lawyer." That was his first mistake. His second mistake was trusting himself. 3 years later, he came home with a very serious face. He said he wanted a divorce. Then he explained how everything would work. The house was his. The accounts were his. The cars were his. And she should be reasonable. RP does not trust people who suddenly become generous with advice, especially when the advice saves them money. His wife listened quietly. Then she opened a folder. Same prenup. Same signatures. Different page. Page 2. The husband stopped smiling. There was a clause he had never read. If either partner cheated, hid money, or filed for divorce because of another relationship, the agreement changed. Completely. The house went to her. Half the accounts went to her. And the cars? Also her. The husband looked at his lawyer. His lawyer looked at the table. That is never a good sign. The wife picked up the prenup and turned to page 2. The page he never bothered to read. The page that had been waiting 3 years for this exact moment. He thought page 1 protected his money. Page 2 protected her. RP calls that terms and conditions. This office manager fired the cleaner in front of everyone. Very confident, very loud, and very unemployed by tomorrow. The cleaner had worked in the building for almost 20 years. He arrived early, fixed broken lights, cleaned every floor, and somehow knew every locked room. But the new manager only saw an old man holding a mop. "You're too slow," the manager said. "Pack your things and leave." The cleaner looked around the lobby, then quietly asked, "Are you sure?" The manager laughed. RP would have taken that question seriously. He did not. "Get out before I call security." So the cleaner removed his gloves, placed the keys on the desk, and walked outside. Everyone thought he had just lost his job. The next morning, the manager arrived and found the front doors locked. Then a lawyer handed him a letter. The company's lease had expired, and the building owner had refused to renew it. The manager demanded to know who the owner was. Then the cleaner stepped out of a black car. Same old jacket, Same calm face. No mop. The cleaner had never needed that job. He owned the entire building. He only cleaned it because his wife used to work there, and he wanted to take care of the place. The manager fired the cleaner. The cleaner fired the whole company. RP calls that efficient management. This baby shower was supposed to mark the start of their family. By the end, it proved one of them had already broken it. The wives planned everything together. 2 pregnancies, 1 nursery, 1 donor agreement, 2 little white cribs waiting at home. One wife kept every appointment. The other kept a secret. At the baby shower, the room looked warm. Soft balloons, tiny clothes, family photo. Everyone smiling like the future was already safe. Then one man walked in. He was not the chosen donor. He was not family. But one of the wives changed the moment she saw him. Not loudly, just enough. Her smile came too fast. Her hand moved to her belly. And he walked toward her like he knew exactly where he belonged. Her wife watched from across the room. The smile left her face first. The man leaned close. Too close. Then he touched her belly. Not like a guest. Like someone who already knew the baby. The room kept laughing. She stopped hearing it. Then he whispered the baby's private nickname. The nickname they only used at home. That was the moment the party ended for her. After everyone left, she asked one question. Is he the father? The answer came too fast. No. So she asked for a prenatal DNA test. The other wife cried. Then begged. Then said the test would destroy their family. Her wife looked at both baby bumps. Then said, the lie already did. When the results came back, there was no speech left. One baby matched the donor. The other matched the man from the party. He had been told the marriage was ending. It was not. She had been told the plan was honest. It was not. 2 people had trusted the same woman. Both were wrong. The baby shower ended. The balloons came down. The silence stayed behind. They planned a family together. She built a secret into the family. RP calls that a nursery built on a lie. This wife loved her husband most when his card worked. She loved the car, the apartment view, the private dinners, the way waiters said his name like it mattered. And somewhere under all that, him. Maybe. RP has seen romance before. This looked like romance with a payment plan. Her husband noticed. When he came home tired, she asked if the deal had closed. When he looked worried, she asked if the vacation was still happening. When he brought flowers, she checked behind them for jewelry. He still loved her. That was the painful part. So one night, one day before the biggest signature of his life, he told her the truth. Not all of it. Just enough. Tomorrow, I'm signing away the company, he said. The car, the apartment, the lifestyle, all of it may change. He did not say the sale was worth millions. He wanted to know what she would reach for first. His hand. Or the money. She looked around the apartment like she was already missing the furniture. Then she asked, how much will be left? That was the answer. Not the question. The speed. By morning, her voice had changed. By lunch, he was irresponsible. By dinner, she said she deserved stability. Then she packed. Fast. Designer bags first. Jewelry second. Wedding photo last. She placed it face down on the table. She took the diamonds. Left the flowers. He looked at the photo. Then at her. One hard day, he asked. She said, I cannot build a future with a man who has nothing. So he let her leave. The next morning, his face was on the business news. The company had sold for millions. More than she had ever imagined. Suddenly, her phone remembered his number. She came back with soft eyes. Small tears. Same expensive perfume. She said she had panicked. He let her finish. Then said, no. You calculated. Then he slid an envelope across the table. Inside was the wedding photo she left behind. And divorce papers. She reached for his hand. He moved the pen closer. She left one day before he became rich. But that was not the real mistake. The real mistake was thinking her love had no price. RP calls that love with insufficient funds.